What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Thriving Money Show. This is Marvin Mitchell, and I'm a Hall of Fame 18-year financial advisor. And what I do is I just love to talk about the different things that are affecting us financially and helping you to have a better model on how to grow your wealth, how to be more prosperous, how to have more money, how to have a better business, and how to save money on taxes along the way. So these are some of the things that we're talking about. So every once in a while, I'll have a guest on this show. And a lot of the times it's just me. It's just me sitting up here talking to you, telling you about some of my thoughts about money. So today, what I want to talk about is the outdated financial model. This is the model that most people know, but that most people are exposed to, that actually causes most people to fail financially and run out of money. The clear path exists to be in a lot better financial situation, but if you don't know, you can't grow. So my idea is to expose you to the real information. This is the stuff that I learn about in these very, very, very expensive high-level masterminds, seminars, educational workshops, and a lot of different things that I like to do. So we're going to talk about that. So what is the old financial model? Before we get started, let me know you're listening. Put some fireballs in the comments if you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram. I'm watching all of you right now. LinkedIn, Facebook, no matter where you are. Let me see you go ahead and put some fireballs to let me know you're listening to this. If you're live, put some fireballs. Maybe by the time you see this, it will be a recording. Put some fireballs. Let me know you stopped by. Mark your spot. Let me know you were here at least. All right. So, outdated financial model. This is go to school, get an education, go to college, get student loans, work until you're 59 and a half or 65, save money into your retirement plan, hold no debt, put money into your 401k, and then when you retire, take money out to live on for your retirement. This is a 50-year plan to help you to make sure that you don't end up broke, right? So I think it goes without saying that this model is for people who want to be average. This model is people who want to just get by. This model is people who want to maybe get rich slow, but then by the time they get rich, it won't be worth the same 20 or 30 to 40 years. One of my mentors told me, the quicker you get to your dreams, the longer you get to live those dreams. So what do you want? Do you want to grow slow, or do you want to learn how to get to your dreams faster? You want to learn how to get to your dreams faster? Put faster in the chat right now. Let me know you want to grow faster. Because this model is set up to fail you. And I just want to explain why. There are several reasons why. Number one, the taxes that you're going to have to pay to the government is putting you into situations that they control you and you don't even realize it. You know, I'll give you an example. Somebody told you to overfund your tax-deferred 401k. That's what they're telling you. Overfund your tax-deferred 401k. Well, let me give you an example. Let's just say I am giving you come to me because you want a loan. You want a loan. And you don't know me really, but you've heard I have money. So you want a loan and you say, let me get $10,000. Now, again, I don't really know you, but I'm like, okay, bet. You want $10,000? Sure, sign this paperwork, take the $10,000. You're gonna be like, that's it? Now, before you take that $10,000 loan, what are two things you're gonna want to know before you take out that $10,000 loan. You're going to want to know how much is the interest and when do I have to pay it back? Now, what if I told you, don't worry about all that? There's too many questions. Look, down the line, I'll decide when I want my money back. And at that time, I'll charge you interest retroactively to the day that I gave you this money. But go ahead and take this loan. Are you taking that loan? No, you're not taking that loan. Why aren't you taking that loan? You're not taking that loan because it's too many unknowns. You don't know when you have to pay it back. You don't know what interest rate that I'm going to charge you. And I'm going to charge you that interest based on as if it was the day that I gave you the money, no matter what interest I decide to charge. It's too many risks involved with that. Now, you know that there's a risk, but many of you have done that exact same thing when you've overfunded your tax-deferred 401k past the match. You don't know when they're going to force you to take that money out. There's something that's called required minimum distributions, and they can change the date. They can change your age. You don't know what tax rates will be at that given time. Tax rates could rise, and there's absolutely nothing that you can do if you need to take the money out. And if you feel that you're not going to take the money out, if you fail to take out your required amount that I'm making you take out, then you're going to pay a 50% penalty for not taking out that forced required minimum distribution. So the government is not only controlling the interest rate you have, the taxes that you have to pay, they're also controlling when you can take the money out. They're also controlling how much liquidity you have while you're working. And then they tell you that you can't even touch your money until you're 59 and a half without a 10% penalty. If you lose your job, you don't have access to even borrow from that account. And if you take money out through the hardship, you lost your job, guess what? They don't care. There's no empathy. You're still going to have to pay the 10% penalty. You're still going to have to pay taxes on that money. So the government is actually using your money as a savings account. So they tell you that, oh, you're going to reduce the amount of income you're being taxed on as you're contributing to this 401k. And that's true, but keep in mind, you're minimizing your taxes on the seed, which is a little bit of money first, and you're deciding that you're going to pay taxes later on the harvest. So if I put in a total of $100,000 over a 20-year period, or over a 10-year period, I put in a total of $100,000, I'm deducing maybe about $15,000 for my taxes. But when it grows to $1 million, and if I have to pay 25% taxes, I've saved $10,000 or $15,000, but then I have to pay over time $250,000 in taxes. You have literally became the government's bank. Congratulations. Congratulations. One of the things that the government cares about is tax dollars. They care about you being exposed to taxation, because if they ever fall into hard times, they can come back and make you pay taxes at whatever the tax rate is at the time. And if you don't think tax rates are high, you don't think that they've been high in the past, I got another thing coming for you. Tax rates right now are actually historically low. The highest tax rate is only 37%. Who knows what the highest tax rate was in our history? At one point, it's been as high as 94%. The average tax rate, highest tax rate is 56%. We're still 20 points off. And if you think about the fact that our country is in so much debt right now, we're exposed to so many things that the government can't pay for, such as Social Security. They're eventually going to have to raise their taxes, and guess the first place they're going to go to get more tax revenue? Your 401k, your 401k, your retirement plan, your IRA. But you're thinking that the government is wanting to do something good for you. by having you to overfund your money into these retirement plans. That's crazy. That is crazy. I see somebody had the answer right, 94% in Instagram. I see you. All right. You're right. That was in 1941. Between 1940 and 1950, these were the highest tax rates. So now that you know that, right, let's talk about some other problems that people do following the old financial model. The old financial model. Another old financial model that people are believing in is what's called the three-legged stool. What is a three-legged stool? That means, well, if you went to work, you're getting paid in three different ways when you retire, which means one leg is your pension, the other leg is your Social Security, and then the other leg is your 401k retirement plan. Yes, this is live right now as we speak. So I can see everything y'all doing. So when I say comment in the chat and y'all are not commenting, I can see you all. So just so that you know, so that I can see you, can you put some fireballs in the comments? Like, help me out. All right. So let me go ahead and break down that myth about the three-legged stool that we were taught about. First off, let's start off with Social Security. Okay, with Social Security, you all, the Social Security Administration has already said that by 2034, the general administration could be running out of money. What does that mean for you? Well, it means that if they could be running out of money, they're going to have to do something to make up for it. So what are they going to do? Potentially raise taxes on your Social Security, extend the age and push it back. So right now, full retirement age is about 67. They can push it back to as long as they want. And they probably will. And quite frankly, I hate to tell y'all this, but they probably should. This is why they should. Okay, I'm going to do a little pop quiz. Does anybody know when Social Security was founded? When was Social Security started? You're paying into Social Security right now, paying taxes on Social Security. Who knows when Social Security was started? Give me a year. And don't Google it. Just guess. All right. So 1935. Okay. 1935. Now, Ajax, you were close. They were talking about it in about 1933, so you're very close. Now, let me ask you this. In 1935, I believe it was Truman, if I'm not mistaken, but in 1935, expectancy was, well, first off, in 1935, you can start Social Security as early as age 60. Who knows what life expectancy was in 1935? Write in the chat. If you know what life expectancy was in 1935, put it in the chat. Life expectancy, you all, was 64 years old. So essentially, what they were betting on, that you would be about to die right before you started Social Security. So many people never even got paid Social Security. In fact, I think it was less. It might have been 62. So you were expected to not even get Social Security benefits. That's crazy. Well, why is that so crazy? Well, look at today. Life expectancy now is about 87. Do you know that Social Security, the earliest you can take it, is only 62? So they went from 60 to 62, but life expectancy went from 61 to 87. Can you see a problem with that? Can you see why there's a possibility that Social Security could be in trouble? And the Social Security Administration has already admitted that by 2034, they could be in trouble unless they make some moves. So what does that mean? That means you can't rely on Social Security the same way that your parents relied on Social Security. Second thing, pensions. That's the second leg of the stool. Pensions are almost a thing of the past. Number one, people are not staying at jobs long enough anymore. Like, people aren't working at the same job for 30, 40 years anymore. People are working at a job for 4 years, 3 years. The average person stays at a job less than 5 years. They're not staying 30 to 40 years. That's number one. Number two, pensions are even going away. The companies are not even offering pensions for that very reason, because they know that people aren't sticking around. So they're putting all of the risk on you, which means the risk that they're putting on you is you have to save in your retirement plan. And what retirement plan is that? The 401k. Remember, we just talked about the 401k. They control the 401k, when you can take it out, how much you pay taxes on it, how much you can borrow against it, all of these particular things. And now you're not even promised Social Security, you're not even promised pension. The government owns you because this is what you decided that you wanted to do. And don't let you get into bad debt. Now the banks own you, the government owns you, you're slave to the lender. Understand that the lender, in this case, is the government. The government is the lender, right? You are slave to the lender. The debtor is slave to the lender. Our government is slave in itself because we have so much debt, and that debt is growing trillions and trillions by the year. Every single year, our debt is growing. So that dispels the myth of the three-legged stool. So you mean to tell me I'm not supposed to be overfunding my tax-deferred 401k? I shouldn't be, here's another one, rushing to pay off my house early. So you're telling me that I shouldn't be doing any of these things that I was taught to do by the miseducational system? Absolutely, right? So what do? Well, this is why it's important. What I want you to do is gain control. Somebody type in control. You need to gain control of your money, control of your wealth. Well, how do you do that? You need to have liquidity, access, and control of your money. Liquidity, use, and control of your money. So let me kind of tell you give you a little acronym. So if you type in the word laser, L-A-S-E-R, laser, it is an acronym. I'm about to tell you what it means. I got this from a book that I was just reading, and it was put so good. What is the acronym for laser? Some kind of emergency we got here. Probably a child missing or something. Okay, here we go. Okay. So I'm going to read some of this that I have for you all. This is laser fun. Laser fund could be your best retirement vehicle. This is from my guy. His name is Doug. I think Doug Lehman, if I'm not mistaken. Laser fund could be your best retirement vehicle. Why are they tax-free? What if you can use a retirement vehicle that freed you from the tax trap millions of Americans are in with their 401ks and IRAs? What if you could contribute after-tax dollars? What if your money could grow or accumulate tax-free? What if you could take money out of your retirement for your kids' education, for business investments, or more without early withdrawal penalties, completely tax-free? And when your time comes, what if your money could blossom in value and transfer to your heirs completely income tax-free? That's it, Doug Andrew. Thank you. That's the guy I was thinking about, Doug Andrew. So Doug Andrew, he's one of the guys I know his kids personally. We're in an actual mastermind and a mentorship together. And I love the way he talks about this because he made it very, very simple. Technically, this financial vehicle is simply a properly structured, max-funded, tax-advantaged insurance policy, as you probably heard. It's called the Laser Fund. The term is based on the LASER acronym that he uses that stands for Liquid Asset Safely Earning Returns. Liquid Asset Safely Earning Returns. That's the acronym for the Laser Fund. These terms are significant because when you're looking for a strong financial vehicle, you want those that score well on the LASER test, meaning as much of the criteria as possible. So when you're building up your own bank, when you're building up your wealth creation fund, is what I like to call it, a wealth creation fund, this is the litmus test that you should be looking for. Okay, so what is that litmus test? One, liquidity. Liquidity is the ability to access your money when you need it, ideally for electronic funds transfers or even a phone call. And you want to get it quickly within just a couple of days. So liquidity, that means you get liquidity use of this money even before you're 59 and a half. There's no penalty. I can get the money. I can borrow against the money. Nobody's telling me I have to apply for a 15-page document. Nobody's trying to check my credit score. Nobody's even making me pay it back in a short amount of time. I want to control this money, and I want to know that I don't have to wait. Because so many people are in trouble because they lose their job. And then when they lose their job, they're forced to take money out of the retirement plan. And now they have to pay taxes. They have to pay penalties because they didn't plan on it appropriately. So that's the L. Safety. Safety refers to the safety of the institution your money is with, as well as the safety of your principal. Think of post 9/11 in a Great Recession, when the markets tanked. Millions of Americans lost up to 40% of their money in traditional retirement vehicles twice. With the latest market volatility stemming from the pandemic and an anticipated recession or depression on the way, we could see disastrous market losses again at some point. Through strategies like indexing, your money could be protected from market losses. Whatever you set aside and whatever you gain, you don't want to lose. You want it to become newly protected principal. Most advisors have no clue. Most advisors have no clue how to help their clients to do this. Rates of return that are rates, that's the R. Rates of returns that are predictable. While there are few guarantees when it comes to rates of returns, ideally, you want historically predictable rates of return. In a possible, you want a 0% floor to protect you when the markets go down. What that means is you want to be in a position that when the markets go up, you can participate, but when the market goes down, you don't lose. You want to make sure that the worst that can happen is you can stay the same. So almost it's like going to a casino with $10,000 and they're telling you if you win, we'll give you some of the returns, but if you lose, we'll at least give you back your $10,000. That's the type of account that we want. Tax advantage. Uncle Sam can take a serious toll on your financial future. So ultimately, you want to use financial vehicles that can minimize taxes and help you get the most out of your hard-earned money. So this is what we want to do. So what makes the Laser Fund tax-free? And this is what I'm going to share with you today. How do we get this fund? How do we make it tax-free? How does it work? So there's an IRS revenue code called IRS Section 72E. So this code is in the IRS tax code. It indicates that any money that you accumulate inside of an insurance contract can accumulate tax-free. Now, what's the best type of insurance for your retirement? Well, while you have a lot of options, the two that I prefer are going to be whole life or index universal life. Now, whole life or index universal life, I'll explain a little bit more in just a second. But the reason why I like whole life is that it offers a fixed rate of return and you can borrow your money quicker, typically within 30 days. The index universal life I like because it's typically higher returns over time, but it takes you a little bit longer to be able to access a lot of your money, typically over a year, which is not a bad thing. Or sometimes it might be good for you to just do both. Higher returns, take a little longer to borrow, and lower returns, but can borrow from it quicker. So Doug Andrews, he prefers universal life, but I definitely see a lot of reasons to get whole life as well. Here's why he prefers universal life. He said it can be structured with the least amount of insurance the IRS will allow you to get away with, which is also whole life as well. It's made possible with these tax citations. There's TEFRA, which was passed in 1982, and DEFRA, which DEFRA, which was passed in 1984. So I know it sounds like a lot of complexities, but if you're curious to know more, I'll explain this. I explain this all in depth in my book, Become Your Own Bank. You can get it on my Instagram. Click the link in my bio, or you can go to becomeyourownbankbook.com. Or you could just schedule a meeting with my team and simply go to www.wealthcreationcall.com. That's www.wealthcreationcall.com, and we will help you through this. So why is it tax-free? It's actually in the government's best interest to encourage Americans to utilize tools like this to take ownership of their future. Because it's a life insurance contract, if I die sooner than later, the money in my policy will blossom in value and transfer as an income tax-free death benefit. My widow, my orphans will not be relying on the government. They don't have to be a drain on society. On the other hand, if I live for a long time and use the money for tax-free retirement income, I'm likewise taking pressure off the government, providing for myself. The government is essentially giving us a tax incentive to be self-reliant. That's good. Section 7702, which is another tax code. This code allows you to access your money tax-free. So I've had my clients who have retired at age 35, and they have had tax-free income up to $100,000 a year, even if they live to 100 years old. And this is why. This wealth creation fund knocks the sock off a traditional IRA and 401k that is only tax deferred because of the tax drag. Okay? Taxes, you don't realize how important it is to plan for taxes. There's another section code, section 101A. This code makes it possible for your money to transfer to your heirs tax-free as a death benefit. It can be a powerful boon to your loved ones. For example, if I die right now, every $1 million in my wealth creation fund would increase to $2.5 million and transfer tax-free under section 101A of the Internal Revenue Code. These three sections of the Internal Revenue Code have been around for over 100 years. It's safe to bet that they will remain a sacred cow for the government because they empower Americans to take care of themselves. The bottom line, with these tax citations, you can accumulate money totally tax-free, like I've been doing over the last decade. There are years where the Wealth Creation Fund have earned 11%. Like in 2017, I personally earned 22% on my money. In other years where I've made 16% on my money. So when the market has experienced down years, I didn't make anything, but most importantly, I didn't lose a dime of my principal due to market volatility thanks to indexing. And like my guy just said in the chat, you're purchasing wealth and you're purchasing an income replacement. Look, you all, this is one of the biggest secrets that people don't really realize. Why? Because they don't realize that I don't necessarily state my cash value life insurance as an investment. I call it my wealth creation fund. Why? Because I use it as a tax-free haven that will continue to grow uninterrupted as if I never touched it. And I can borrow against that money and buy an asset and buy an investment, and that investment will grow. And my life insurance is growing tax-free. Now I can learn to make money 2 times, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times off the same dollar. This is called great leveraging, right? But I want you to get out of the old trap of thinking that, well, I guess this is all I can do, save in my retirement plan. Now, if you get a match, go ahead and save in that 401k at work. But if you're going to save in that 401k and you're younger, my recommendation would be for you to see if they have a Roth 401k option. And now you can put the money into a Roth 401k option and get the match on that money. And then the rest of the money, you can place it into a Roth IRA, or you can place it into this cash value life insurance policy. Remember, you all, we're not just thinking about how we can make the most money. We're looking at how we can keep the most money due to taxation, because many people who I have who are retired, they had no idea the taxes would affect them as much as it would affect them. They actually get less income because part of that income has to be used to pay taxes. So right in the words tax-free, if you want to learn how to make your money tax-free. Let me see, tax-free. I love it. Tax-free, you all. We want tax diversification. There's 3 different types of tax accounts. You have a tax now bucket, a tax later bucket, and a tax never again bucket. The tax now bucket, that's going to be money where you want to invest in stocks or the money in the bank or CDs in your regular accounts, and you're going to get taxed and get a 1099 on that money every single year. If you get dividends, you got to pay taxes on that money every single year. If you sell it at a gain, you're going to have to pay capital gain taxes. It's the fact it could be triple taxation because you've already paid taxes on this money. You still have to pay taxes on the dividends, and then you got to pay taxes on the gains. The second level is tax deferred. This is money that's in your 401k. It's just going to grow deferred, which means you won't have to pay any taxes on that money until you take the money out of your account. When you do take the money out of your account, then you pay taxes at your ordinary income taxes. So if your ordinary income taxes is higher, that means you're going to pay it at that higher tax rate, right? And then the third is the tax never again. Somebody say tax never again. This means exactly what it means, what I said. Never again is tax, right? You may have had to pay taxes on the seed, but if you put in 10,000 and it grows to 100,000, understand that you can go away and take out that entire $100,000 completely tax free. This is why they call it the tax never again bucket. So for those of you who are listening right now, if you're on Instagram, type in the word webinar. I want to see if this works. Type in the word webinar. I want to invite you to my next webinar. Where my next webinar, I'm going to be going deeper into these concepts, and I'm going to be teaching these concepts to you and just helping you to get more financially literate. The Bible says my people are destroyed because of their lack of knowledge, you all. The only reason why we're destroyed is because of our lack of knowledge. It's because of our lack of financial literacy, our lack of skill set when it comes to this area. And I want to help you, but you got to take the next step. I'm giving y'all free information here. Free information now, free information on a webinar. But just because I'm giving you free information doesn't mean that it's automatically going to happen. You have to take some kind of action and execute. Don't just listen to this and do nothing about it. Listen to this and say, I want to take action. So those of you who message me webinar, you might be getting a DM to your inbox. If you don't get a DM to your inbox, just message me on Instagram, Marvin Mitchell Official, and just, let me know, type in the word webinar in my DM, and then I will make sure that I get you the link to the webinar. But I'm telling you, this webinar has been changing people's lives, and it's absolutely free. Why am I doing this? Every single week I've been doing it absolutely free because first off, it's my way to give back. It's my way to give back. Second off, I help a lot of people. A lot of people see my free webinar and they say, I want to go through your company and I want to get my policy set up correctly. Well, when they do that, we waive our fee. We waive our fee to give them a complimentary consultation just because they attended the webinar, and then they come to the consultation and we help them and we hook them up. And that's just one of the things that I do to help the business, but also help and give back to you. So the old model, to wrap this up, the old model is hurting you. You will never get rich by working your way to wealth. You will never get rich by saving your way to wealth. You have to learn how to multiply your way to wealth. And the only way to do that is that you have to learn what the financially literate and financially skilled people are doing. And if they don't know it, they have advisors and mentors who are helping them and guiding them along the way. When I first started this, I was in the financial industry for 10 years. Nobody had ever told me about this. I had to go outside of my industry and find out what millionaires were doing. And what I learned was they were not overfunding their 401k. They were not paying off their house early. Why would millionaires have mortgages? They don't need the mortgage. They were not doing that. What they were doing is they were learning to leverage their money, make money multiple times, creating death benefits, creating legacies, creating trust for their family members. And they were doing things that you don't have to be rich to do. This is the thing. You don't have to be rich to do these same principles. These same principles is what can help you to get rich. But it doesn't matter even if you get rich, if you're not protecting this. I know a lot of people who are broke millionaires. They're millionaires. They're making a gross revenue of a lot of money. But guess what? They're finding ways to lose it due to taxation. They're finding a way to lose it through so many different areas. So you all, I'm about to wrap up. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to make sure that you follow me on YouTube. If you're not watching this, subscribe to my channel on YouTube. It's called The Thriving Money Show with Marvin Mitchell. So look me up on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share this with about 10, 15 friends of yours. Let's spread this knowledge. Let's spread this information. Let's change the world. And I believe that you're going to help me to do it. So on a count of 3, we're going to say dominate. You ready? Put your fist in the air. Pretend that I can see you. And on the count of 3, we're all going to say dominate. 1, 2, 3. Dominate. Y'all have a blessed day. Let's have an amazing week. And let's be some wealth creators together. Check me out, wealthcreationcall.com. Schedule your complimentary consultation. Type in the word webinar or DM me webinar to attend my free webinar. Let's make some things happen, y'all. Appreciate y'all, and I will talk to you later. We out. Thriving Money Show.